Coach, can you give us an update on Fats and Max and their availability?
Fats is improving. We'll have to see how. Like he did 3 treatments yesterday, so we'll know more. Once we get to practice today. But no real update there on him or Max. They're both getting better, but we'll see. Certainly the goal is to have them both for Brooklyn.
What kind of challenge does it pose to get ready for both scenarios when you're already facing a tough ranked team like Dayton in their house?
Yeah, we can't worry about the scenarios. We have to worry about what's right in front of us, and that's a really excellent team and well coached team, and one that certainly is been one of the best teams in our league and has represented us well throughout the country.
What do you take from your first meeting, the win here over them?
I think it was kind of an old rock fight. Both teams struggled scoring. I think our defense was pretty solid. In that game, we were able to score just enough to win. We kind of grinded to a halt there at the end. They did a great job of limiting our clean looks, down the stretch. But you know how it is. You play once and figure it out and try to do a little bit better in the second game.
During that stretch when you guys beat Dayton last time, you were playing so well defensively. What do you think you guys need to rediscover on that end to kind of get back to that point?
Yeah, we certainly haven't guarded the 3 well recently. 2s even as well. The percentages of both have gone up, and so we've got to do better of just making guys miss and getting out there and while still protecting the basket and the lane. This team here that we're getting ready to play provides as stiff a challenge as any in our conference, because they can do both, and they have guys that can score around the rim and demand primary attention, but then they also have elite shooting on the outside, and so that's a tough task for any defense, especially when they're playing at home, and these guys have been excellent all year at home. Haven't lost a game in that building, so it's good. We realize the challenge that we have, but we also understand that we have a group that is confident in one another, and we've got to go in there with that type of confidence and belief.
Were you watching the results last night? Much of the VCU fandom rooting for G-Dub and Fordham.
Yeah, we're not rooting for anybody one way or another. It is what it is. At this point, for us, we're trying to finish the best that we can, and the results are the results. I'm a big believer in you make your own luck, and you take care of your own business. And we haven't necessarily done that. We've lost some games, that we should have, performed a little bit better in and didn't, and the other team made us pay. Certainly the other night was a good example of that. Duquesne played an excellent game. We did not have our A game, in that game. And so still more ball to be played. As you look at the conference tournament and how it's laid out, certainly it's one less game, that you would have to play if you're a top 4 seed. But again, you see it every conference tournament. You'll see teams that, will advance from that round all the way to the finals and sometimes even win it. I think ours is set up even better for the teams that are in that first round because they play 2 games and then you have a day off. And so I don't know that necessarily favors the top 4 seeds to play 1 game and then have a day off. I'm not saying any of us would want to play the first day. It is what it is. You play the schedule you're given, and you try to perform the best within the schedule that you were given. This year, you look at it amongst the top 4 or 3 teams, right? We've played more games against those teams than anyone. The only other 2, St. Bonaventure and Duquesne, played those top 3 teams after Friday 5 times. All right, so it is an unbalanced schedule. It is what it is. We have 15 teams. There's no other way to do it. But we've got to make sure that we're ready Friday night. And then we'll focus on what's next after that, who we're playing and where we're seated and all that. Our attention will turn to the tournament.
Do you think that's the right way to go about it, schedule-wise, having the top teams play each other at the unbalanced schedule?
I don't know. This is my first time going through it. I'm not sure what the best way to do it is. I don't have an exact answer for that.
Anything markedly different in Dayton this time compared to the first time around that you see?
Obviously Bennett hasn't played recently. So that, he's an important player, for them. He's excellent. His speed, his shooting, his defense, and they've been able to play well, in some tight, environments, tough environments, while still having a chance to win. It speaks to, their coaching and their players, stepping up. But hopefully he's able to play. We don't want to see anybody not, have their full complement of players, going into the conference tournament and into postseason play. But certainly that's really the only difference. Holmes is a factor. Their shooting's a factor. They've got very good players and an excellent coach, and they're tough for anyone to match up with.
Do you have to mix up the scheme a little bit on Holmes with a player like that? Can you kind of not throw the same stuff at him twice?
He's seen it all at this point, in terms of, the doubles and the fake doubles, and, they do a really good job of moving him around. He has the ball on the perimeter, or he has the ball in the post. He's really tough in terms of his ability to get fouled. And so we've just got to be disciplined. We've got to get back to the shooters, try to get as much help to him as we can, and force him into some hard shots. When our defense is at its best, it limits, leading scorers, and recently we haven't done that. We've got to get back to that, going into the conference tournament.
With all the roster turnover of modern college basketball, is it any more difficult now than it used to be to keep kids focused this time of year on the task at hand and not thinking about the future and what next year might hold?
I don't know that it's any different than any other year, because you have seniors, right? Like every group around the country has seniors, and that's just a natural thing, right? You get to the end of the year and it's your last go round, and you're having senior nights or leading up to senior nights, going into the conference tournament. It's a natural thing for young people to think about, okay, what's next for me? And so you really have to, as a coach and an overall group, focus the guys on why they're playing the game that they love, enjoying the last moments that they have with the teammates and coaches that they have, and certainly that's what we've tried to do with our guys. We're playing for VCU, and this team has one life, and we're going to make the most of it. Every day that we have together, have fun together, regardless of the result, and try to do our best. And I think that's really all you can do, as it relates to that, because it is, there are different. We're in different times. There's no doubt about it. With kids being able to move around from school to school, and it's just a part of life. At this point, a part of our business. And but there doesn't need to be a focus on that while you're in the middle of the year, right, or at the end of the year. You wait until the season's over, and then you begin to figure out, everybody begins to figure out, okay, well, what's best for me at that point? But right now it's team time. And so as a coach, as their leader, I have to make sure that they understand it's team time right now. We have to be all in and focused on what we're doing. And then we'll figure out after the season, okay, individual meetings, all right, what's the next step for you individually, and this and that and the other, because it is about that at that point. helping that individual become the best that he can be, transforming his game, adding to his game, helping him become more confident. Oh, maybe it's a situation where it's, oh, okay, like you need to go elsewhere and play, you know, have another chance to go to this place or that place and be more of a factor, whatever the situation is. They're all different, you know, it runs the gamut, right? And so you just have to, you know, figure it out as you go, you know, once the season ends. But right now, I mean, our guys are completely focused on the task at hand and what they want, you know, as a team. And they're pulling for one another, and certainly didn't have the result in the last 2 games that we wanted, but we still feel confident in this group, and they feel confident in one another.
Did you get to watch much Brandon Jennings in the ISAU
Yeah, I mean,
playoffs at all?
I saw him quite a bit. I mean, really proud of him, you know, and what he's been able to do, and excited that he's going to be with us next year.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thanks.